Hello and welcome to my very first off-the-cuff reactions to Marvel's Cloak and Dagger Season 1, Episode 5, Princeton Offense. Now, I just want to start out by quickly saying these really are my very first off-the-cuff reactions. I just finished the episode, so I don't know if they're doing another one of those, like, Nerdist videos this week, whereas last week they went into some detail about the show that I didn't know about because I just immediately started recording the video, because I want it to be my fresh take, my hot take, as you will. So if I miss anything, let me know in the comments. I appreciated people letting me know some stuff last week, like the fact that Tandy specifically wasn't trying to kill herself. She was trying to activate her powers. It's a big, important moment to know that, get that clarification. So I appreciate that. And they definitely did clarify that here pretty well in this episode too, I think. So, episode 5, I thought it was a really solid episode. We delved more into both characters. I like how they're intersecting now on a regular basis, but they're still living their own lives. They both have their own distinct nemesis and their opponents they're trying to take down with the cop and with Roxxon. And my question is, when are they going to interweave in ways, or are they going to interweave, or is it going to be more that as Tandy and Tyrone get to know each other more, they're just going to help each other, solve each other's problems, which they've already kind of been doing, but more directly like, oh, I'm going to help you take out the cop and you're going to help me take out Roxxon because we care about each other? Or is it going to be that there's going to be a greater connection is my question. So we're really weaving further into the mystery here and sort of the thriller aspect as we learn from Tandy more about the Roxxon Corporation. We have her going on to one of these galas. And I will say, I meant to mention this a few weeks back, but especially when we have this other instance here, I appreciate and sort of just giggle at the fact that even though Tandy is this poor character and they're trying to have a different kind of protagonist, we still have the cliche tropes of a teen drama of there has to be a party every week and they have to wear super fancy outfits so that you wish that you had their life a little bit. And it's like, oh, well, she's just doing it thievery-ish. So it's, I'm not really criticizing that. It's just a funny thing knowing, as someone who's watched things like OC and Gossip Girl, and it's like, how are we going to come up with a reason this week for people to be at a party? It is just kind of funny. But she goes around touching everybody, seeing their hopes and dreams, and using that to sort of find her way to Peter Scarborough, I believe his name was, who is sort of the head evildoer over on Roxxon. And I'm interested to see where we go with that. He was interesting in that we had the whole scene where he is helping her with her tire, which was sort of interesting, gave him a little bit of vague personality. But when we see his hopes and dreams or whatever, he's basically just hoarding cash from dead bodies and stuff. And I'm like, it's a little bit, it's interesting imagery, and I definitely enjoy these surreal scenes that have to do with the hopes and the fears and all that stuff. At the same time, I hope that his motivation, his driving motivation, isn't just, I am a villain who wants tons of money and I will take everything because of the money. And I'm just like, yeah, I understand that is a motivation for people. It's just a kind of simplistic cliche villain thing, especially because he's like, I am a white businessman who wants money. And so I hope we get more development from that character and that he gets more dimension. Obviously, I'm sure we will, but I don't think this was an awesome introduction to that character personally. Meanwhile, we have Detective O'Reilly going after Connors and her investigation, and I'm really enjoying O'Reilly. She's very likable, charismatic, and she's clearly smart. She's clearly willing to do what it takes to get the job done, and I'm excited to see how she is sort of interweaved with Tyrone's plot, but she also knows Tandy, and we have the Liam stuff, and I like how this world is slowly, it's growing. We're getting all these little side people. We have the parents, we have Liam, we have this new biologist girl that Tandy finds out about at the end of the episode, who seems like a sort of almost alternative option for her. What would have happened if Roxxon hadn't destroyed her life, but had helped her life? I'm excited to see where that goes. But yeah, we're really, we have Dwayne. I think that's what I would say his name. And it's just, we feel like a nice full world where we're building this whole cast of characters. We have the priest coach, all that stuff. And so I think that's really cool. It feels like a lived-in world. Meanwhile, I think they did a really good job with Tyrone's plot this week. I appreciate that they find ways of making the basketball games not just, oh, it's a basketball game, will he win the big game? The fact that they like added a moral dilemma into it, I thought was really interesting, and that he, did the self-sacrificing thing, the thing that will make people, his team and everybody look down on him. And at the same time, he knew that the ref wasn't treating the people right, and we get this interesting thing of weaving of his powers as he's doing the basketball game, and I think that was really interesting. And him seeing all the fears of all the other players and being sympathetic to them, not just seeing them as an enemy, I thought was great. And I also like that Evita knew what he did and was perceptive and picked up on that. Evita's an interesting character to me. I think that they're doing a solid job of making her feel like a real person and a good person and a smart person, and not like a pushy girlfriend and not like a overly simplistic girlfriend. At the same time, I am definitely more invested in him making things work with Tandy, so she kind of feels like she's just there to be there as a problem eventually. But she's a nice lady. I will say I'm interested in what people think. It seemed pretty clear that they were aiming for, oh, she comes and they have sex and then she leaves and he's not wearing a shirt and blah, blah, blah. And I'm interested whether it was supposed to be actually sex or if they just like hooked up a little, because I thought it was going to be interesting that, he was the choir boy and there was the religious aspect, and Tandy kind of teased him about being a virgin. And I thought it would be kind of cool if he had some, like he wanted to wait. He had some religious things that made him not want to jump into sex. And so I'm interested in whether that is just not part of the character, if they've had sex here, or if we're going to get in more detail and that was just them hooking up in some way. Personally, I thought it would have been really cool and fresh and different to have this male character choosing not to have sex, and then having the female character wanting sex and having sex on a regular basis. I don't know. We'll see. It doesn't have to be that way. I just thought that would be kind of cool. But I definitely like seeing the plot thicken and the world grow. And I think that the twist of having one of Billy's friends be actually in on it with I was going to say Dr. Connors, the lizard. Having him in on it with Connors is really interesting, that his business is a front. It adds an interesting extra personal layer to Tyrone's journey here, as Connors is like, in some ways, again, another cartoonish villain, but having this Dwayne character really brings some nuance into it and some extra pain and feeling of betrayal. And I think that's really cool, and I'm excited to see where they go with that. So I thought it was a great episode, one of the best since the premiere. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to talk to you about this episode, and I'm excited for next week. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.